Hello everyone. Welcome to Jarring Everything, our hyper-seasonal approach to preservation. I'm Sam Payon, founder and owner of Golden State Pickleworks and Collective Cultures in Sonoma, California, and I'm here to show you how to ferment and pickle and preserve and incorporate them into tasty dishes. Every episode will focus on an ingredient in season, different varieties, different ways of preparation. Today, we're making a hot sauce, a fire cider we're gonna turn into a mule, Jalapeno Escabeche for a spicy spinach dip, Pepperonata that'll end up in a dish of steamed clams. I've already sanitized these jars here just by dipping a paper towel into a little bleachy water, wiped the insides and the outsides of these jars, and now it's time to wait for it to air dry. Let's set up our station and start fermenting. First up is hot sauce. I have ají amarillo chilies here. This is a Peruvian pepper with a nice amount of heat and a little fruitiness that adds a nice profile to the finished ferment. I do have garlic as well. That'll round out the flavor of the finished sauce with a little umami and deep undertones. Let's shove all of our ingredients into our prepared and sanitized jar. I've learned that anywhere between a 2 and a 5% salinity works really well when fermenting vegetables. So today I'm going to weigh out 14 grams of salt, and that will lend enough for about a pint of water. So this is the most important step. You really want to make sure to have that salt completely dissolved, because otherwise you just have salted water, and it's the salty water that ferments and creates a brine during aging. So many people come up and ask me, what are fermented foods? Well, fermented foods are foods that have gone through a process of lactofermentation in which bacteria feed on the sugars and the starches in the food, creating a lactic acid. This preserves the food, creates beneficial enzymes, B vitamins, omega-3 fatty acids, and various strains of probiotics. Probiotics, in simple terms, are live organisms, typically bacteria and yeasts, that are beneficial for our health, especially the digestive system. They're sometimes nicknamed good or friendly bacteria because they help maintain the natural balance in our gut. Okie doke, let's pour this brine right over our chilies, and that is a great amount of brine to start our process. Okay, I'm gonna add a little bit of cheesecloth right on the top of this. This will sort of ensure that no solids reach the oxygen, keeping bacterial growth to a minimum. I'm gonna tightly wrap plastic wrap on the outside of our lid and then loosely place the lid right on it. I wanna be able to have the gases escape the jar during fermentation, but I don't want that loose lid to allow more oxygen in. Very nice. This is clean. We set it aside for 2 weeks, and then we'll finish our hot sauce. Okay. This has been fermenting for 2 weeks. What I'm gonna do, we're gonna toss this plastic and the cheesecloth. And if I see any bacterial growth that has developed through the whole process, which is called com yeast, it's totally fine. You've eaten it plenty of times without even knowing it. I'm just gonna skim it right off, and it looks so clean that I'm just gonna start pureeing this, and it goes into a bottle. Once this hot sauce is finished, it would make a great buffalo wing sauce, add it to sauces or marinades or salad dressings. But of course, we're gonna be bottling this up, and we're gonna take it everywhere we go. Now it's time to just puree this baby up. Don't you love that light color of this ferment? Once it settles down, it will brighten up, but because our ají amarillos are at the golden stage, we're ending up with a little golden sauce. And here's our hot sauce. Next time, we're gonna make a ton more and gift some to our friends. Next up is our fire cider. I have some spicy peppers here. I've got a Serrano, Lucento, and we've all heard about Thai bird peppers, right? Well, I have a Thai white bird pepper today. I also have an orange, a lemon, fresh horseradish, ginger, and turmeric, along with a couple of tablespoons of black peppercorn. All I'm gonna do is process this into our processor. This honestly could be as fine or as, as rough as you'd like, because after the 4 weeks of aging, we're gonna strain it and discard the solids. Look at how easy this is. Great. Now we're just gonna pack it inside of our container and cover it with apple cider vinegar. Fire cider is a type of herbal tonic made by infusing pungent ingredients in apple cider vinegar. It's traditionally used as a home remedy to boost the immune system, improve digestion, and combat colds and flus. It would be great as a shot in Bloody Marys, margaritas, gazpacho, even a shrub. But today, I would really use a fire cider mule. This will all go into our prepared container. We're gonna make a huge batch later on today. I am gonna cover this with raw apple cider vinegar. I'm using raw because as this is also fermented and unprocessed, it still contains all the beneficial goodies we like. Okie doke. This gets covered and set aside for several weeks before we get back to it. Okay, it's been 4 weeks for this one, and all you have to do is strain it out. Oh my goodness. All of these solids will end up in our compost. We all do our best, but sometimes we can think about doing a little bit better. I always like to keep a little compost on hand because I really don't want to be part of the problem, even though I know I am. And I'm just trying to grow a few more vegetables in my garden, or even give it to the city to grow more things. But the last place any vegetable or food should go is right into the trash, where it's just gonna end up in a landfill. All right, this is our finished fire cider. I'm gonna put it into our clean sanitized jar before I move on to our mules. This will keep anywhere in your refrigerator for up to 2 years. Time to make our cocktails. We're starting with 2 ounces of vodka. Was that 2? I don't know. We'll have 1 ounce of our fire cider. Half an ounce of lime. Now, I come from Sonoma, where there are tons of different kinds of citrus, and these limes are calamansi limes. They're tart and bright and sweet and so delicious. All right, I'm gonna stir this up, and all of this gets covered with 4 ounces of our ginger beer. As this show is called Jarring Everything, I figured, what a better vessel to have our cocktail in. We're gonna garnish it with some of our limes and perhaps some mint. Cheers. Oh my gosh. Whoa. I need more vodka, but other than that, it's pretty good. Moving on to our Pepperonata. I have these beautiful sweet Italian peppers here. When you hear sweet peppers, it's really more about the fact that they're not spicy rather than having a high sugar content. I've got these Jimmy Nardello peppers. I have Hungarian wax. I have baby bells, shishitos. I like a variety of textures and colors for this dish. I also have this pretty special chili from last year's garden that I simply preserved at room temperature for like 2 months, just making sure it wasn't molding, and they've been good for a while now, about a year. This is gonna chop up and added for a little bit of heat. First step though, is getting onion and garlic in our pan with a bit of olive oil. And some salt. Once this starts to cook down, I'm gonna add our sweet peppers, our dried chili, a little bit of thyme, and bay leaf. This is gonna take a while since we want it to go pretty low and slow.
You picked the color, but I did the design.
And just watching the passion of the chefs, of how he cares about the story and how he cares about the food.
I know a guy will take us to see it all.
This has been cooking down for just a little while now, and now it's time to add all of our sliced peppers, our dried chili, thyme, and a little bit of bay. We're gonna add a little bit more salt too, because every layer of every dish could always use a little salt. So this has been going for quite a little while, and we still have to wait a few minutes before the final steps finish this project. Pepperonata is an Italian dish made primarily with sweet peppers, onion, and tomato. It's cooked low and slow to almost melt together into this spreadable relish. Its soft textures and savory sweet flavors make it perfect for spreading on breads and crackers or used as a condiment in various ways. It would be amazing with sausages, sandwiches, pizza, omelets or frittatas, or grilled cheese. Today, we're gonna make a dish of white wine steamed clams with our pepperonata and fermented allium aioli. Into the pan goes our cherry gold tomatoes. And this is gonna cook a little while to let all of those juices sort of make a sauce. I'll show you in a little bit. Do you see how the moisture from those peppers and the tomatoes are releasing? It's sort of emulsifying with the olive oil and it's making its own sauce. Last thing here, I'm gonna remove it from the heat and finish it with a little bit of a drizzle of balsamic and a bunch of parsley. After this cools completely, then we'll add it to our jar and it'll be able to store in our refrigerator. Literally, that's all you need. Store in our refrigerator for anywhere between 5 and 7 days. I started my business in 2014 after being fed up seeing the wasted potential at the fermented food aisle at the grocery store. Ready to branch out on my own, I use my background in cooking in restaurants to make flavor-forward and creative fermented foods. The goal? To make healthy food that was actually delicious, like the allium aioli that we're gonna be making our clams with. Now we're gonna move on to our clams. Moving on to our steamed clams. We're gonna start by getting these cleaned clams into our pan. All I did was rinse the clams under cold water and tossed any clam that wasn't completely shut. I stored it in the refrigerator over a strainer in a bowl covered with a towel. Okay, in the pan goes our clams and just enough white wine to help steam, about a 1/4 cup. A little bit of salt and cover goes on that as we are in high heat. After a couple of those clams start to open, it's time to add a big dollop of our pepperonata. Once the clams are completely open, it's time to shut the heat. Let's get these fat pieces of bread on the grill. I particularly love the dried bread with the grill marks, and as soon as it comes off the grill, I'm gonna rub it down with a garlic clove and finish with a crack from the peppermill. These clams are open. Time for a nice dollop of our pepperonata. Or a nice pour. And these get all tossed and in the bowl that goes. These two are not completely open. I'm just gonna help it because all it needs is a little bit of help. Today, I'm gonna garnish this with a fermented allium aioli from Collective Cultures, my probiotic condiment line. While we ferment fennel, onion, and garlic for the base of this aioli, you could make a simple substitute by adding garlic and lemon to mayonnaise. All right, this gets rubbed down with a nice amount of garlic. And perhaps it could be cut on a bias. And then just stir it on the side of the bowl. It smells so good in here. I'm not gonna wait. I'm gonna dig in right away. Oh my gosh. There you go. And here we have our dish of steamed clams with pepperonata and fermented allium aioli. Moving on to our jalapeno escabeche for our spicy spinach dip. Time for our jalapeno escabeche. Let's get our pickling liquid on the... So, vinegar, water, sweetener, and spices make a wonderful vinegar pickle. And I'm gonna use traditional spices for this. The flavor possibilities are endless, but today I'm using coriander, a little bit of mustard, celery seed, and a little bay. A little bit of water, and raw sugar. I like to keep even my sugars as least processed as possible, and vinegar pickling is a great opportunity to do so. Let's get this on the stove and get it to boil. Escabeche refers to sweet and sour. In this case, we're making a sweeter style pickle, a vinegar pickle, using jalapeno, carrot, and onion. I have sliced them up. The carrots really were so perfect, I didn't really have to do anything. And we were waiting for that to boil. After that, I will carefully pour it over our vegetables. Escabeche would be amazing with tacos, beans and rice, vegetable and turkey burgers, potato salad, added to stir fry, and even tossed in slaw for pulled pork sandwiches. Today, we're going to make a spicy spinach dip. But first, we need to blanch some spinach. You could easily go to the store and buy some frozen spinach and meet us after the step from straining, but I'll show you how easy it is to blanch. We gently poured our hot boiling pickling liquid over these prepped vegetables. Look at how beautiful this is. As soon as this comes up to your room temperature, it's fine to cover it up, place in your fridge for anywhere up to 2 years. Time to make our spinach dip. I do have our blanched spinach here. I did roughly chop it just to give it a little head start in our container and our processor here. We'll add our spinach. and some of our pickled jalapenos and onion. I'm also gonna add some cream cheese and sour cream. And then we pulse it into a spreadable dip. If it needs a little help, this pickling liquid is perfect. Of course, a bit of salt and a little crack of pepper. We'll taste for seasoning and then get this into our bowl. Here we have our spicy spinach dip. It's already plated into our bowl. We're gonna snack on it, perhaps with an arrangement of bell peppers, our pickled carrot sticks from earlier, and maybe a cucumber. Cheers. Let's take a look at all we've made today. Hot sauce, because everyone needs hot sauce in their life. Said cheers to our health with our fire cider mule. Snacked on a jalapeno escabeche spicy spinach dip. And then our steamed clams in white wine with our pepperonata, fermented allium aioli, and grilled bread. You can find all of what we do all week long if you're interested in all of the socials, Collective Cultures and Golden State Pickleworks on Instagram and Facebook. Email us, ask us questions, reach out at info@collectivecultures.com. We are all ready to dig in here. Join me next time as we connect through flavor.